Good morning everyone. Today we are going to start chapter electricity. We know that the importance of electricity. Our daily life is totally depend upon electricity. All the electric applications, devices work with the help of electricity. In this chapter, we know all the facts, all the things related to electricity. In this chapter, the first topic is electric current. What is electric current? Electric current is the rate of flow of electric charge from a point. Rate of flow of electric charge. Electric charge is equals to N into E, where N is positive or negative integer and E is equals to electronic charge. We discuss about electronic charge. First we know the value of electronic charge is constant, which is equals to 1.6 into 10 to power minus 19. So, electric charge denoted by Q, and Q equals to N into E. Now we conclude that electric current is the rate of flow of electric charge past a point. Next topic is electric circuit. What is electric circuit? Electric circuit. The closed and continuous path. The closed and continuous path in which current flow are known as electric circuit. In our home, electricity flow through a wire, and in our home there is a circuit which is closed and continuous, in which electric current flow, and the path where electric current flow continuously is known as electric circuit. Next topic is how we represent electric circuit on paper with the help of the pictures of some electronic applicants. See, this is the source of electric current, battery, cell. Here is minus, here is plus. This is the instrument which is measure the flow of current. We discuss about it later. Okay. So there is one fact. Electric current always flow from negative to positive. It means that in this circuit, current flow from negative terminal to positive terminal. Okay. electric current always flow from positive to negative terminal. Okay. The flow of current, electric current, and the flow of electron is inversely proportional to each other. Means the flow of current is always from negative to positive terminal, but the flow of electron is just opposite to the flow of electric current. Means if electric current flow in this direction, then electron flow in this direction, just opposite to the direction of electric current. Okay. Let us know more about electric current. Electric current is the rate of electric charge, which can also define by this formula. I denotes electric current, Q denotes electric charge, and T denotes time. So I is equals to Q upon T is a formula. I current, Q charge, and T time. Okay. The SI unit of electric current is ampere. The SI unit of electric charge is coulomb, and the SI unit of time is 1 second. Then we have also a relation in the form of SI unit. We can say that if 1 coulomb of electric charge flow per second, then the current is equals to 1 ampere. I repeat, if 1 coulomb of electric charge flow per second, then we say that the electric current, 1 ampere of electric current flow in the electric circuit. Okay. Okay. So I have formula I equals to Q upon T, and 1 ampere equals to 1 coulomb upon 1 second. Okay. Here is some value. 1 milliampere equals to 10 to power minus 3 ampere, or 1 microampere equals to 10 to power minus 6 ampere. Okay. Here a question and numericals are first numerical of this chapter. A current of 0.5 ampere is drawn by the filament of an electric bulb for 10 minutes. Find out the charge flow through the circuit. Okay. So we have to find out the value of charge. Given part is current and time. So here time is in minute. We have to change this time, this minute, into second. Okay. So 10 minute equals to 300 second. Okay. 0.5 ampere. Ampere is a SI unit of current. We have to write down the formula of appropriate. Q equals to I upon I into T, multiply by 0.5 ampere into 600 second is equals to 300 coulomb. This is required answer. Q equals to 300 coulomb. Okay. When 0.5 ampere current flow in a circuit per 300 second, then 300 coulomb charge flow through the circuit. Next topic is electric potential. Electric potential. See, we know that the flow of electric charge is from negative to positive. Let us assume here okay, this one is positive terminal or this one is negative terminal. Current flow from positive to negative, positive to negative, positive to negative, positive to negative. Okay. If we put Q amount of charge in this circuit, then there is a force of electrostatic force act on this charge, and this charge easily come from here to here containing a kinetic energy. Okay. I repeat, if I drop this marker, if I left it, then it will goes downward. It means that there is a force which attract toward the earth, which is gravitational force. Similarly, we know that charge always go from positive to negative. Then it is convenient when this charge is placed in between positive and negative terminal, then it is obvious this charge go or also from positive to negative. Okay. If we want to go from negative to positive, then we have to apply some amount of force. Similarly, if we want to lift any object from downward to upward, we have to apply some amount of force to lift upward. Similarly, if we want this Q charge go there upward from negative to positive, we have to apply some amount of force. Okay. We know that force equals to mass into acceleration. We also know that these all phenomenon are in equilibrium state. What is equilibrium state? Equilibrium state means object are in uniform motion or in rest. In every equilibrium state, anything are in equilibrium state, it means that it is either in rest or in uniform motion. But here, if this Q goes upward, we have to put some force on it, which is equals to mass into acceleration, and we know that acceleration is not uniform motion. So we have to manage it. We have to put equal amount of force, the value of force is equals to Q into E. When we apply force which is equals to QE, then this one and this one we cancel. Then only QB is left. This all system are only for electric potential. One thing, electric potential is denoted by V, and if force is applied, then there should be work done. Here force is applied, it means work done. Any work is happening. How much work done per charge is equals to electric potential. From infinite point to a finite point. From infinite point to finite point. I repeat, if this charge come downward, then there is a force act which is electric force. Every charge flow from positive to negative, but if we want that this charge flow opposite to the direction of current, that means we have to apply some force on it. Okay, if we put some force, it does mean that some work is happening. So this all about work and charge. Work and charge. So electric potential V equals to W upon Q. How much work done in this phenomenon per electric charge is said to be electric potential. Electric potential is from infinite point to finite or fixed point. Okay. So we are talking about electricity, and today we are going to discuss about Ohm's law. Let us see what is Ohm's law. So, in 1827, a scientist named George Simon Ohm, who found the relation between the potential difference and the current. Let us see what he stated. In 1827, a German scientist named George Simon Ohm found out the relationship between the potential difference and the current. The current I flowing through in a metallic wire and the potential difference across 2 points of a metallic wire or its terminal. So, I repeat, in 1827, a German scientist, Georg Simon Ohm, found out the relationship between the current I, which is flowing in a metallic wire, and the potential difference of its terminal. According to Georg Simon, at constant temperature, potential difference V is directly proportional to I. Potential difference V is directly proportional to I. At constant temperature, V is directly proportional to I. So, this Ohm's law is all about only two things: potential difference and current. At constant temperature is also very important thing, because if temperature is varying in any metallic wire, then this law is not valid. This law is only valid if temperature is constant. So, at constant temperature, V is directly proportional to I. Okay. If we remove this proportional, we have to add one proportionality constant, and here we put a proportionality constant which is resistance, which resists the flow of electric current. See, V upon I is equals to constant, which is R. Now we are able to write V is equals to IR. So, when we remove this proportional, we have to add a proportionality constant. This proportionality constant is resistance. Okay. So, resistance is a property of current which is resist the flow of electric current. Okay. See, now the SI unit of resistance is ohm, which is named of a scientist who discovered it. Okay, so ohm is a SI unit of resistance. Okay, so it represent in a Greek letter, which is this letter, and this is ohm. Okay, so we have to remember it. See, Ohm's law, V is directly proportional to I. Now V equals to IR. When we remove this proportional and we add this proportionality constant, then we get the value the formula of R, which is R equals to V upon I. So when we say that in a current carrying circuit there is a 1 ohm of resistance, it means that 1 volt of potential difference across two terminal of that circuit and 1 ampere of current flow through it. If the two terminal across 1 volt of potential difference and 1 ampere of current flow through this conductor from positive to negative terminal, then we say that there is 1 ohm of resistance. Okay, so now from first day of this chapter to this we have three important formula. First is I is equals to Q upon T. Second, V is equals to W upon Q. And third, R equals to V upon I. We have to remember these all three formula, which are very important and required for solving any numericals. So I equals to Q upon T, V equals to W by Q, and R equals to V upon I. Okay, so today we discuss about factors on which the resistance of conductor depends. How the conductor is important to find out the resistance and how resistance depend upon the conductor. Let us see. This is a conductor which is metallic wire. Okay, so what we notice in any metallic wire or a conductor, there is a length of conductor. First, length of conductor. Second is cross section area. What is the thickness? So this is cross section area. And third is nature of conductor. So only these three things we have to notice in any metallic wire or any conductor. First, length of wire in this wire. Second, cross section. And third, metallic wire of nature. So nature of metallic wire. See how it is depend. The resistance is directly proportional to length. First. Second, resistance is inversely proportional to cross section area. So only two things we have to consider. We have to remember R is directly proportional to length and R is inversely proportional to cross section area of a metallic wire. So this is first equation and this is second equation. When we add these two equations, we get resistance is directly proportional to L upon A. So this is our required value, which is R is directly proportional to length of wire upon cross section area of a wire. Okay, so this is the value we get. R is directly proportional to L upon A. Now we have resistance R is directly proportional to L upon A. Okay. When we remove this proportional, we get a proportionality constant again, which is rho. In previous topic, we get a proportionality constant named resistance, but here we get the proportionality constant which is rho and which is also known as electrical resistivity. See, by this way we get the value of rho which is electrical resistivity. Okay, so this is called by rho and which is electrical resistivity. How we get the formula of rho resistivity, which is R into A upon L. Okay, so we know that the SI unit of resistance is 1 ohm and the SI unit of area, cross section area, is meter square and the SI unit of length is meter. We cut this meter to this square value and we get the SI value of the SI unit of resistance, which is ohm meter, Okay, so the SI unit of resistivity is ohm meter. How we get? We just put the SI unit of R, A and L. We get the value of the SI unit of resistivity. Okay, so this is all about a new formula, which is rho equals to resistivity equals to resistance into cross section area upon length. Now we need to recall all the important formula. Whatever we get during the classes, we have to recall it. First formula we get, which is I is equals to Q upon T. I is equals to Q upon T. I is equals to Q upon T. Or Q is equals to IT. Or T is equals to Q upon I. Okay. Second formula is V is equals to W upon Q. V is equals to W upon Q. Or W is equals to QV. W is equals to QV. Or Q is equals to W upon V. Okay. Third one is R is equals to V upon I. R is equals to V upon I. Or V is equals to IR. Or I is equals to V upon R. So next fourth is rho is equals to R into A upon L. Again L is equals to R into A upon rho. Resistance is equals to rho into L upon A. Or A is equals to rho upon L upon R. So these are the important formula we get during the classes. We have to remember it. And also you should write in your copy by this way. Class 10th, today we are going to discuss about resistance of a system of resistor. So here this system is a closed circuit, electric circuit, in which whenever resistor placed, how we get the value of resisted, entire circuit resistance. So first I will tell you one thing, that resistor is a device. Resistor is a device having property of resistance, and resistance is a property of electricity by which it resists the flow of electric current. So we know that with the help of Ohm's law, we have V equals to IR and R equals to V upon I. So whenever in any circuit we have two things. In any electric circuit we have two things. First, we need two things. First, potential difference, and second, electric current. Okay, so whatever the potential difference across two terminal of a conductor and the current flow through it, we have to just divide both of them and get the value of resistance. Okay, so this is all about a conductor, है ना? How we get the value of resistance of a conductor. But here we have to calculate the value of entire circuit. How we get the resistance of entire circuit? Okay, so there are two ways by which resistor can combine in a circuit. There are two type of combination. First, series combination, and second is parallel combination. See, we are discussing about both type of combination one by one. First, series combination. See, we know there are two ways to represent resistance of a system. First, series method, and second is parallel method. Okay, so parallel way and series way. See, first is resistor when they are in series. Resistors in series. Okay, so let R1, R2 and R3, R1, R2 and let R1, R2 and R3, R1, R2 and R3 are three resistance. Now we are going to draw the diagram of circuit where three resistor R1, R2 and R3 are placed. Just wait and watch. Okay, so now we have a closed circuit having battery, positive, negative, having switch on off, and in which this R1, R2 and R3 resistor are placed. R1, R2 and R3. So the current flow through the entire circuit. Okay, I, okay. The potential difference from all three resistors are V. Okay. Having two terminal X and Y. So now we can say that the potential difference across these two terminals X and Y is V, and the current flow in this entire circuit is I. Okay, and resistors are R1, R2 and R3. Now one thing that we have to notice in this all concept, which is in series combination the current I is same through the circuit. In series combination I अर्थात is equal throughout the circuit. So we have to remember first thing, the current in series combination is always remains equal. Means the current of this resistor are equal in series combination. Okay, I is equal, and potential difference are vary from R1, R2 and R3. So in series combination current is equal and potential difference is different. So the equivalent potential difference is calculated by V1 plus V2 plus V3, where V1 is the potential difference of this R1 resistance, V2 is the potential difference of this R2 resistance, and V3 is the potential difference of this R3 resistance. Okay, now we have to find out these all V1, V2, V3 one by one. How? See, we know that V is equals to IR by Ohm's law. V equals to IR. Okay, so V1 equals to I. We know that the current is same in this circuit. So V1 equals to IR1, V2 equals to IR2, and V3 equals to IR3. Okay, so now we know that equivalent potential difference can obtain by the summation of all these three potential difference V1, V2, V3. Now we have IR1, IR2 and IR3. IR1 plus IR2 plus IR3, V equals to IR. So here I cancel out, and R equivalent is equals to R1 plus R2 plus R3. Okay, so we have required formula of resistance. Whenever resistor placed in series combination of a electric circuit, then the equivalent resistance of the circuit is equals to the summation of all resistors which are placed in a circuit. Next, resistors in parallel. Resistors in parallel. Resistors in parallel. When resistors are placed parallelly in a circuit, then what is the result and what is the value of equivalent resistance we need to find out. First of all, we have to draw this circuit. where all these three resistors are placed. Okay, so the potential difference across X and Y is V, and here this figure having R1, R2 and R3 resistor and the current I flow through the circuit and V as a potential difference. Okay, see, this figure indicates that the resistors are in parallel. The concept of parallel combination is just opposite to the concept of series combination. Remember, in series combination the current is same and the potential difference is different, but in parallel combination the scenario will change, just opposite to the series combination. Means in parallel combination current is different and potential difference is same throughout the circuit. So the first concept is V is same or equal throughout the whole circuit. Means the potential difference of R1, R2 and R3 are same whenever resistors placed in parallel combination, arranged in parallel combination, but current is different. So we know that by Ohm's law we have V is equals to IR and I is equals to V upon R. V upon R. Okay. So the current of R1 is different, the current of R2 is different, the current of R3 is different. Means the current of each resistor are different in parallel combination. So we have to find out current equivalent, and which is equal to the summation of all the individual resistors current. Means I is equivalent is equals to I1, which is the current flow in R1 resistor, I2 in R2 resistor, I3 in R3 resistor. Okay, we know that I is equals to V upon R. So I1 is equals to V upon R1, I2 is equals to V upon R2, I3 is equals to V upon R3. Okay, we need to put all the value of I1, I2, I3 in this equation and get the value of equivalent resistance when resistor placed in parallel way. So we know I equals to V upon R equals to V upon R1, V upon R2, V upon R3. We know that V is same, so V is cancelled out, and the result is R equivalent is equals to 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2 plus 1 upon R3. So this is the required value of R equivalent. So whenever resistor placed in parallel combination, the equivalent resistance is measured by this formula, which is 1 upon R equivalent is equals to 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2 plus 1 upon R3, and whatever the number of resistor present, we just follow this pattern. Okay, so let us see one example. If the value of R1 is equals to 2 ohm, R2 is equals to 3 ohm, R3 is equals to 5 ohm, and the potential difference is same, so the given value potential difference is equals to 10 volt. 10 volt. So we need to find out the equivalent resistance using the formula. Whenever resistor placed in parallel combination, we have 1 upon R equivalent is equals to 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2 plus 1 upon R3. 1 upon R1, 1 by 2, 1 by 3 plus 1 by 5. Okay, so which is 30. 1 upon 30 and 1 upon R equivalent. So the value of R equivalent 1 upon and 1 upon. So R equivalent is equals to 30 ohm. So 30 ohm is R equivalent. So 30 ohm is the equivalent resistance of this entire circuit. So we have R and we have V also. So now the question asks you to find out the current. So I equals to V upon R. V equals to 10 volt and R equivalent is 30 ohm. So 1 upon 3 ampere is a current. Chapter 12, electricity. In previous classes, we discussed about the combination of resistors, series combination and parallel combination. Now the next topic is heating effect of electric current. See, whenever electric current flow in a conductor, then it produces some amount of heat, and the produced heat is known as the heating effect of electric current. We see so many electrical applications like refrigerator, toaster, oven, heater, bulb, electric iron. They all produce heat whenever electric current flow through it. We use this heat in our daily life. For example, electric iron. When we pass electric current in electric iron, then we are able to press our clothes. So electric iron take electricity as an input and give heat as an output, and we can use the heat in pressing of our cloth. There are several examples of it. Consider a current I flowing through a resistor, resistance R, let the potential difference across it be V. Across it be V. Let T be the time during which a charge Q flow across it. I repeat, just we consider current I, resistance R, potential difference V and time t. We know that potential difference is equals to W upon Q, and here from this way we get the value of W, which is equals to V into Q. Okay. If we say power which gives as an output, any electric appliance gives power as an output when it takes electric current. Power is equals to W upon T. Work done per unit of time is said to be its power. We know that W is equals to V into Q. So P is equals to VQ upon T. We also know that I is equals to Q upon T. Then it gets V into I. So hence we have a formula which is equals to P equals to V upon I. So whenever we have potential difference across two terminals of a conductor or an electrical applicance, and the amount of current which is flow through it, now we able to find out the value of power. So conclusion is power is equals to the product of potential difference and current. P is equals to V into I. Okay. Now we talk about heat. Heat produced by any electrical applicants is equal to P into T. When we product power and time, then we get how much heat will produce by an electrical applicants. So hence we can say that heat is equals to VIT, potential difference into I into T. We also know that according Ohm's law, we have V is equals to IR. When we put this value into here, we get I square RT. Now we have this formula, H is equals to I square RT. Okay. So an electric iron consume energy at a rate of 840 watt when heating is at the maximum rate, and 360 watt when it is at minimum rate. Okay. The voltage means potential difference is 220 volt. We have to find out what are the current and resistance in each case. Okay, see. So one thing that I want to tell you, the SI unit of power is watt. Okay. So here this 840 watt and 360 watt. Electric iron consume two type of energy. One when it takes at a higher rate and one when it takes as minimum rate. Okay, so we have two cases, when power is equals to 840 watt and when power is equals to 360 watt. Okay, and we have potential difference is 220 volt. Okay, first of all we have to find out the value of current. How we get the value of current? Okay, we know that power is equals to solution. Okay, we know that power is equals to V into I. Okay, in first case we have power 840 watt is equals to potential difference 220 volt into I. So I is equals to 840 upon 220. Okay. (42 upon 11 ampere). Okay. So this is first case. In second case, we have case 1. In case 2, we have power equals to V upon I. Power is 360 watt and potential difference is same. Current is equals to 360 upon 220. Okay, now 18 upon 11 ampere. Okay, you can also convert this fraction into decimal form, okay, to get linear answer. Okay, so we have I and I, so we get the answer of current, how much current flow in this case. Okay, now we have also find out resistance in each case. So here we know that R is equals to V upon I. R is equals to V upon I. So here V is equals to 220 and I is equals to 42 upon 11. Find, and here also R is equals to V upon I. We have V 220, and here current is 18 upon 11 ampere. Get the value of resistance. So by this way we get the solution of this numerical. Here we use only one formula, which is P is equals to V into I. Okay. Next question is, 100 joule of heat are produced each second. Each second means 1 second. In a 4 ohm resistance, find the potential difference. Okay, so the SI unit of power is watt and the SI unit of heat is joule. Okay, so we have in a given part, heat is equals to 100 joule. Okay, time is equals to 1 second. Okay, resistance equals to 4 ohm. Okay, and we need to find out the value of potential difference. Okay, so we know that the formula of heat is equals to I square RT. I square RT. Okay, so I square equals to H upon RT. H upon RT, and I is equals to root under H upon RT. Okay, and which is equals to 5. Okay, so 5 ampere is a current. Okay, 5 ampere is current. Using, we can find the value of current 5 ampere with the help of this formula. Formula is what? H equals to I square RT. So now we know that V is equals to IR by Ohm's law. Okay, so I is equals to 5 ampere and resistance is 4 ohm. Now we get 20 volt as a potential difference. So this is the final answer. This is the final answer of this numerical. Science. We are continuing this chapter, electricity. Today we are going to discuss about the practical applications of heating effect of electric current. See, the generation of heat in a conductor is an inevitable consequence of electric current. In many cases, it is undesirable as it converts useful electrical energy into heat. We know that whenever electric current passes in any electrical applicants, it produces heat. In electrical circuit, the unavoidable heating can increase the temperature of components and after their property. We know that whenever electric current passes through any applicants like this laptop, the components of laptop become hot and the temperature become increased and also change in their property. However, the heating effect of electric current has many useful applications. In this topic, we will discuss about these useful applications. The electric laundry, iron, electric toaster, electric oven, electric kettle, and electric heater are some of the familiar devices based on joules heating. So, what is joules heating? We know that the SI unit of heat is joule. So, it is known as joules heating. The electric heat is also used to produce light. Whenever you see an electric bulb, you observe that whenever electric current passes through it, it produces some amount of heat and also light, by which in night this bulb gives us and becomes a resource of light. Now let us talk about some information related to electric bulb. What are the information related to electric bulb? Let us write down electric bulb. We know that electric bulb. So we know that this is the structure of bulb. Okay. So first I want to tell you one thing. In a bulb there is a filament. There is a filament. Here is a filament who glow whenever electric current passes through it. Second thing, we also know that if electric current passes through any material, the temperature of that material become increased. So if the temperature reach its melting point, then what will happen? That conductor become in liquid from solid. Therefore, we use such type of metal having more and more melting point. We use tungsten as a metal in the filament of bulb having more and more melting point, which is equals to 3380 degrees Celsius. 3380 degrees Celsius. The melting point of tungsten is 3380 degrees Celsius. Okay. Let us see next thing. The insulated support. The bulb are usually filled with chemical inactive nitrogen and argon gas to prolong the life of filament. We also know that any conductor, any metal who conduct electricity, whenever metal come contact in air, it corrode. So to maintain the life of filament, we use some inert gas, inactive gas like nitrogen, argon as an inactive gas in the filament, in the bulb. That's why if you break this bulb, it makes a sound. So because inside the bulb there is some inert gas present. Most of the power consumed by the filament appear as heat, but a small amount of it is in the form of light radical. Okay. Another common application of Joule's heating is the fuse, which in the electrical circuit. If you see, whenever you see your board, switch board, then a fuse is present. So what is the work of fuse? Let us talk about it. Fuse. So the fuse is placed in a series with the device. So the combination of fuse is in series. Next one, if the fuse is placed in series with the device, it consists of a piece of wire made of a metal or an alloy. Alloy is a mixture of two type of metal, okay, having good property than metals, appropriate melting point, for example aluminium, copper, iron, lead, etc. These are the metals where wires are used to make the fuse. If a current larger than the specified value flows through the circuit, the temperature of the fuse wire increase and it melts and fuse wire breaks the circuit, and by which we use so many costly electrical appliances in our home. So the concept is, whenever current increase, whenever the amount of current, the flow of current is increased in circuit, then whatever the wires, aluminium, lead, zinc, copper, any type of wire are placed in fuse, they melt. Whenever they melt, it break the connection of electric current in the circuit. Hence we save our costly electrical appliances like TV, refrigerator, etc. The fuse used for domestic purpose are rated as 1 ampere, 2 ampere, 3 ampere, 5 ampere, 10 ampere etc. For an electric iron which consume 1 kilowatt electric power when operate 220 volt, a current of 1000 upon 220 ampere, that is 4.54 ampere, will flow in the circuit. In case of 5 ampere fuse must be used. So overall concept is that whenever we use electric current, the amount of electric current is okay. So we are talking about fuse. What is fuse? We know that fuse is used to save electrical applicants if 4.5 ampere current flow through the circuit, then we have to add 5 ampere of fuse into the circuit. Okay. What is the use of fuse? So fuse is made up of aluminium, lead, copper, zinc, metallic wire, and whenever electric current, the amount of electric current increase in the circuit, the wire of fuse melt, and thus it break the flow of electric current, and hence we save our costly electrical applicants. These are the concept all about fuse. Okay. Now the second concept is, if 4.5 ampere current flow through the circuit, we must use 5 ampere of fuse. Okay. Now the next topic is electric power. Let us see what is electric power. In previous class we already discussed about power. See again what is power. Power. What is power? We know that power is the product of its potential difference and the current flow through it. In previous lecture, we observed this relation. The product of potential difference and current is equals to power. If we apply Ohm's law, then it becomes what? See. P is equals to I square R. I square R. Because V is equals to IR. Okay. So this I and this I become I square and this R is R. I square R. Okay. Now if we use I is equals to, then it become V upon R. So V upon R. Then it convert into V square. If we use I square is equals to V upon R square, then it become V square upon R square into R. Then R cut by R. Then we have first type of relation. First relation, P is equals to V into I. Second relation, P is equals to I square R. And third relation, P is equals to V square upon R. So these are the three relations by which we get the value of power. We have to remember it. Okay, now the SI unit of electric power is watt. W. It is denoted by W. And it is the power consumed by a device whenever it carries 1 ampere of current when potential difference is 1 volt. So according to this formula, we know that if the if any device carry current 1 ampere, amount of 1 ampere, and the potential difference through this device is 1 volt, then we say that 1 watt of power generated by it. Okay. The next thing is power consumed by a device. Okay, so the unit watt is very small, therefore in actual practical we have to use some much larger unit, like we know that gram, milligram, nanogram, microgram, but we use kilogram, ton. Why? In a practical life the quantity are much larger than our imagination and also much smaller than imagination. Okay, so we use kilowatt. Kilowatt, you know that what is kilowatt? Yes, 1000 watt is equals to 1 kilowatt. Okay, 1 kilowatt. Next one is, since the electrical energy is produced of power and time, the unit of electrical energy, therefore watt hour. 1 watt hour is the energy consumed when 1 watt of power is used for 1 hour. Now we talk about energy. How much energy consumed by device? So it is just the product of its power and time. Okay, so whenever 1 watt of power is consumed for 1 hour, then we say that the energy consumed by a device is equals to 1 watt hour. Okay, so we have to see a relationship between joule and watt hour and watt second. Just look, 1 kilowatt hour is equals to 100 watt, sorry, 1000 watt. 1 kilowatt is equals to 1000 watt into hour, which is equals to 3600 second. Okay, after multiplying it we get 3.6 into 10 to power 10 to power 6 watt second. 10 to power 6 watt second. Okay, so now watt second is said to be joule. So we can say that 3.6 into 10 to the power 6 is equals to joule. Okay, by this way we finish this chapter. We have to revise all the stuff related to this chapter. Go ahead with exercises, do practice more and more numericals related to this chapter, and read once your textbook. In next lecture we start next topic, next chapter. Okay, thank you.